What's good, everybody? It's your boys, Kane and TJ, here on the 2 Kill Time Podcast, TKT Podcast, your favorite podcast on all podcast streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. As you can see today, we have another guest on the podcast this week. What is this, our fifth episode of technically our fourth season? We're having a returning guest, TJ. It's been a heck of a week, man, but we have a guest this week, and that guest is Riley Kenny, my brother-in-law. He's been on this podcast before.
What up, everybody?
It's probably been 3 years, right? It was just under 3 years, or just over 3 years was what we were talking? I think it's like,
yeah, probably.
As a matter of fact, the last guest we had to ask a question, I wrote down the date, was Shauna, and it was off of your question. She answered it on August 9th. So to the day, It's been 3 years since since you have last been featured on this podcast in some way, shape, or form. That's insane.
I didn't feel like it's been that long.
Me either. I mean, we had a long hiatus a couple times. So, I mean, I think before we started this season, it was about a year. But, Riley, how you been, man? What have you been up to? What's been going on? It's been 3 years. How we feeling?
A lot's happened since the last time we've been on the podcast.
For sure.
Your sister. Wonderful time. Wonderful thing.
Poor guy.
Oh, stop it. and things have been good, just working. Actually, the 3rd of this month was my 3 years at DOT.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Nice. Been there a minute.
Working on the tree crew with them, throwing brush. And
I was gonna say, so like in the winter, you drive plow truck, right, or like the salt truck, whatever. In the summer, do you just like do trees, or do you do like other stuff?
Yeah, I'm on the chipper crew usually all summer long.
So are you just throwing shit into the back of the truck, or are you like the limb guy? Are you in the bucket? What are we doing?
So we have an actual regional tree crew that comes in for the big trees. They bring a bucket truck in and everything. We usually have them like in total throughout the whole summer, like maybe a month total. Yeah. But when we don't have them, we're just on the ground. We got a dump truck with a chipper on the back of it, and I'm either all in the brush, flagging the road, or I'm on the saw cutting the trees and brush and whatnot. So.
Hell yeah, dude. So like, what's the?
It's a good time. I love it.
I was about to say, like, what's the retirement age looking like for you? Do you have to stay like 30 years or some shit, or?
Yeah, 30. But this day and age, I'll probably be like 85.
That's what I'm saying. We were talking about it, what, two weeks ago, a week ago, something like that on the podcast. Just like
week, I think.
It's just inevitably pushing farther and farther away for people our age of what actual retirement is going to look like, which, whatever, I guess, to each their own. The baby boomers took up all the wealth and decided not to give anything back. So I saw a clip.
And,
go ahead.
So, a lot of times you'll see guys from the state, they retire, and then they'll come back and plow in the winters.
I mean, I guess that's not bad, though. I mean, it gets you out of the house in the winter, it gets you doing something, and, I mean, they're always looking for people, I'm sure, to do that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I would want to do that. I feel like that's such a, not necessarily dangerous, but, like, dangerous job. You know what I mean?
Sketchy.
It has its moments, but a lot of times it's fine. The best part is in the night when there's I start at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I go until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's got to be prime.
It's fine up until
5 hours of just not open road, but you know what I mean.
Well, the best part is when the snow's really coming down, and you're just seeing that snow fly off that fucking plow.
Hell yeah!
It's a lot of fun, and then cars come out and it just fucks up everything.
Yeah,
you just hate your life at that point.
Every time I think of like plowing in the winter, I obviously think of like being a kid and riding around with my dad. But like I heard this story once. It was a Reddit story. We're on a tangent for the intro of this podcast, and I don't really care. But I heard this like Reddit story, and it was like a video on Facebook or whatever. So every time I think of you going out and plowing, there's this story of this guy that would go out and plow these roads. Well, it ended up being like obviously a blizzard. And he goes to turn down this old like fire station road or fire road like through the mountains. And it had been closed forever, but there was so much snow that you couldn't see like the sign. So anyways, like he goes up, plows, like whatever. Like 6 years goes by. Nobody's ever heard from this guy. Next blizzard, like a decade later or whatever, he ends up like returning back. They found the truck with the keys in it. And like a decade later, he comes back in the same truck. It was like this like portal or whatever. Obviously, it was some bullshit like creepy pasta story, whatever. But
Gotcha.
I need to find it and send it to you because every time like it's
Yeah.
wintertime, you're like, yeah, I'm going out to plow. That's the story I think of, and that's why I'm like, oh,
You
it's
think I'm
dangerous.
going to a portal and I just
No, dude,
He's
magically
gonna blip.
return?
yeah, it's wild. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
bloody
if you've ever
slip.
seen like Endgame, that's what it is. It's like he blipped, but everything was normal. So he just ended up like wandering back out, like out of the
Yep.
woods a decade later or whatever. But anyways, so we
Yeah, that's
got
crazy. You gotta send that to me.
I will. I'll have to find it, bro. I'll have to find it. But we got a pretty interesting set of questions for you today, man. It's
Yeah.
this is a podcast that when I came up with the questions for, man, it I was excited for. I've been looking forward to this all week. These are questions that I think a lot of people can resonate with and want to hear not just our answers, but it'll get them talking and get people asking questions about themselves. So,
Right.
if you are ready, we can go ahead and hop right into the first question, which is: would you say you are a driven person? This is a leading question into another question.
Yeah, yes in some ways, no in other ways. Yes as in, like, my alarm goes off, I don't hit snooze.
Hmm.
I get right up, I'm getting ready to go to work, always showing to work on time, and, you know, on the no side, it would be kinda like how what you really wanna do in life,
Okay.
with you're all in the class, you're talking about what you wanna do and then not following that dream that you always wanted when you were a kid,
Yeah, like not everybody
you
could
know?
become an astronaut type thing. That
Yeah,
type of stuff.
like you're in the class, you got kids saying, "I want to be an astronaut." No kid wants to say, "I want to be a state worker." So
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true. I'm sure some people like
No,
had a grandfather
I
or
mean, dude,
something
all
that
kids
like
love plow trucks. They love seeing the
exactly,
plow truck go by. That's a cool thing. But
exactly.
um, there's a lot of things I could be more driven with. Like my health, for instance.
Yeah,
I could eat better. I could exercise more.
yeah.
But as
See,
far as like starting today and getting things done, I feel like I'm pretty driven.
I feel the same way about myself. Like you said, alarm clock goes off. I'm just up. Like I don't like to linger around in bed a lot, especially like during the week for work. Like I like to just get up and just get the day over with, essentially. But
Yeah,
like you mentioned being a kid and going to career day and be like, oh well, I want to be an astronaut, whatever. I never wanted to be an astronaut or anything. I've always wanted to race a car. I've always had the same goals in mind. I want to be a professional baseball player, that type of shit. You know, in that case, obviously, if that is what is defined as being driven, chasing that career goal of when we were kids, then obviously I'm not driven. But I would say, I can um pick a goal and put my mind to it and kind of chase after it. And one of those, this is going to be a weird example, but people always ask me how I enjoy the game Farming Simulator. The reason why I enjoy it is because you can set like goals in your head of like, oh, I want to do this. And that's what keeps you playing. Other than that, it's a fucking boring game. You're driving a tractor at 7 miles an hour. You know what I mean? It's not a fun game unless
yeah.
your brain
yeah,
has that little bit of like tism in it that can do those kind of things and set forth the goals in your mind.
yeah.
TJ, would you say you're a driven person?
Um, I would say yes, but I would say sometimes
Oh, he's froze. Wow, we're getting like 1,000 yard stare here. This is
so
scary.
like
You cut out there. Hold on. Reeled in. I think you're back. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're back. That was
been
crazy,
lagging real bad.
dude. That was a crazy like face to cut out on. I'm not gonna lie. We might have to
Oh,
blur it.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no. Um, okay, so what did you hear, I guess?
I would say, and then
Nothing?
you're staring off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Little
No,
Vietnam
what I
flashback
said
moment
was,
there.
you know, 1,000 yard. Uh, no, what I said was I would say yes, but sometimes when I'm not confident in whatever I'm trying to be driven in, it holds me back.
Okay.
So like I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but like yes and no.
Okay. Oh, that
Um
go ahead.
yeah.
I th-
I was gonna say, just like when it comes to more like major things, yes. Because I would say I have a better time with long term goals than short term ones for some
Gotcha.
reason.
I think I could say the same thing about myself too. Like, if I'm able to like kind of see it towards the end of like, okay, this is going to be like a 5 or 10 year plan. Like, I can put forth that effort and just going into like we're moving down to an apartment to save money. We're doing that for the ultimate goal of like buying a house, etc. But on the short term, like I don't want to go to an apartment. Like it's very hard to. It was very hard to make that
Yeah.
decision to own up that we needed to do that, but that question kind of leads into this next one. Excuse me, beer settling in, Miller Lite, making me burp.
Miller
I
Lite.
yeah, dude, I do. I have all this beer that nobody
I'm
drank from July
surprised.
4th, so I'm just milking it, man. I've just been drinking it.
July.
Yeah, dude, I
Nice.
had what like
It's
fucking
probably
60
crisp.
beers plus Good Boys. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm
Yeah,
finally
yeah,
down
there
to
was
the
a lot.
last few. But anyways, I would say most people think some way, shape, or form that they're driven in some way. However, most people are driven by a form of insecurity to prove their worth. Is there an insecurity that you may have had in your life, or even that you have now, that you would say has made you who you are by making you driven towards that goal of the insecurity, or maybe curing that insecurity?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things for me has been like my weight. You know, I've always been a heavy guy
Yeah,
throughout pretty much all my life, and you know that's kind of what I can't say stop me because you can change it, but you know, like when I was younger, I always wanted to go into the military and law enforcement, and you know, like I told Hill, like that's still like my dream goal is to
yeah,
do law enforcement.
yeah,
So you know, just getting to that point to get out there, get motivated, lose that weight,
yeah,
you know, and you know, one thing that still will bite me in the ass is I didn't really care for school,
yeah,
you know, so I didn't really have the best grades. I was just thinking to myself, like, ah, I'm not going to use any of this stuff you guys are trying to teach me out in the real
yeah,
world. And you know, so now I feel like that's really going to bite me in the ass when I go, you know, try to do something big like that. But yeah, man, uh, it's rough. It's rough
yeah.
finding that motivation to do stuff.
Yeah, and I would say kind of the same thing. I mean, I've always kind of struggled with my weight, and looking back, I was never as big as I thought I was, and now I'm obviously bigger than I was. So kind of same thing, you know, just always stop myself in college baseball. I went to play my freshman year. I had really good tryout. Was like going to be on the team, and he was like, "Yeah, you're just not going to play. Like you're too slow. You know, you're too fat. You just don't have enough for it." And I was like, "You know what?
Right.
It's a D3 baseball team. I wish I, you know, put in the effort to go and play more, but it just came down to the fact that like I'm never gonna do anything with this, so like I'm okay. Like
Yeah.
not that I wasn't gonna miss it. I still miss it today, you know what I mean? But it's just one of those things where I was like, I'm never going to do anything with baseball. Like this is a D3 school unless I go out here and hit 400 with bombs. You know what I mean? Or somehow get, you know,
Yeah.
all 5 6 of myself to throw 95. I'm never going to do anything with this. So I was okay with just going to college, getting my degree, and getting out of there. Yes, I miss baseball every day, but that was something that, again, going back to yes, I'm driven, but there was a bigger goal in mind than having to practice every day and going around and throw a baseball. So weight
Yep.
was definitely one thing for me in terms of like insecurity for sure. Um, a big insecurity of mine, especially when I first moved here, was the scar on my face. That's something like I've struggled with for a long time. It bothers
Right.
me. I People always ask. It's something that I not that I'm uncomfortable talking about, but like it's like asking somebody that's lost a limb, like, hey man, what happened to your arm? Like, hey, what happened to your face is a weird question. So that's like an insecurity that definitely like puts a stop to that
Yeah.
or
Absolutely.
makes me try to prove something a little bit more. But TJ, what about you, man?
Um, I mean, I don't know. I guess yeah, like the self-worth. I always have a problem in like enjoying my accomplishments. Like I always feel like, okay, finally got that done. Like what's next? And I
Yeah,
have a problem on like celebrating that next step. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like I don't know. Sometimes I burn myself out always trying to do too many things at once, I would say.
It's funny you say that
That's
because
just always been a
that's something that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. It's actually like one of our next couple topics. Is kind of touching on being able to celebrate a win or something like that, which maybe it's a more common thing than I think, or that anybody realizes, because it's mostly, I'm sure, a lot of guys go through it as well as a lot of women, but maybe it's just a common thing like guys just don't talk about. But we'll touch on that definitely in a moment. Um, it's
Like
always
TJ
unique.
saying the
Go ahead.
so that like TJ talking about the self worth,
Hmm.
society plays a huge role in that.
Yeah,
Like you see where other people are very successful, very well off, and it makes it harder for you in a sense, but at the same time, you really just gotta appreciate where you are,
no,
what
100,
you're doing.
100%.
Even if it's not exactly what you want to do.
yeah. It's funny that you bring that up as well, because that's something that we're going to touch on later as well. Is the way society is portrayed upon us in a lot of ways, not
Yeah.
just me us three. I mean in general, like the way everybody sees the world. So I agree. You have to learn to kind of closet off yourself in a lot of ways when it comes to that, in order to focus on your self worth and your mental health and your growth.
No, for sure. For sure.
Now, leading kind of into the next thing is going off of, all these people that are successful on social media and whatnot. What would you say, Riley, is your definition of success?
My definition of success is living the life you want to live.
Okay,
Owning your life and know taking care of your loved ones, those that you love and care for the most, taking care of them, doing your best to make sure that they're successful in their own ways. That's what I deem successful. If you're happy in your life, that's that's success, in my
gotcha.
opinion.
So what would you say? Just going off of what you just said there. What's the life you want to live, man? Obviously, take care of family. Even dating back to the first time you were on this podcast, and pretty much every conversation I think I've had with you, you've left this impression with me. Is family's really important to you? And, living that kind of not traditional life, but being able to take care of your family as not just the man of the house, but the man of the family. What would you say is the life that you want to live outside of taking care of your family? What's something, law enforcement wise, like what is that ultimate form of living what you want to live outside of like job, family, like where do you want to be? We talked about it on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? How do you want to be living your life in 65 years when you look back and say, man, yeah, I was successful because of this.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said with with the law enforcement thing, like that is my ultimate goal, and I just need to get that motivation to start working at it, physical fitness, getting into some academics, studying and whatnot. And, once yeah, and she has a rough time with it, thinking
Yeah.
about it, because it's not like it's the most thankful job in the world right now, but
Yeah.
it's
Especially in New
always
York.
been my dream. Yeah, so especially in actually no, New York State itself actually kind of really praises law enforcement.
Write that down.
I've
He's speaking
noticed.
high on New York, everybody.
You
First
won't
time
see
for
that often.
everything. First time for everything.
You won't see that often.
Now again, just that speaks, like I said, a lot. Every time, every interaction I've had with you, you're a good person. You know what I mean? You've never left an impression of like you're just a terrible dude. So that's really great. Um,
Well, that's good, buddy. I appreciate that.
I just mean that, and like leading towards that is that's very important, you know what I mean, for you to be able to find that drive to chase down that goal of not just a career of success, but what it means to be successful when you're 65 and you're sitting on your front porch like drinking that iced coffee, you know what I mean, TJ? Like
Yeah.
what is your definition of success, TJ?
For me personally, just because of how chaotic the last 5 years of my life has been, probably just like peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't have anything like seriously weighing me down. Like if it gets down to like what am I gonna do today?
Yeah, like
Like
more of
yeah.
like the freedom of success, you know what I mean? Not necessarily
Yes.
money monetary, but the freedom of success. I like that. That's a good answer. I
Yeah.
like that. I would say for me, the definition of success is definitely along both of those lines. Really, for me, it's being able to take care of your family. I'm a firm believer in that. Uh, Family, once you become married, or in general, like when you have that partnership with somebody, whether you're married or not, like that's your family. And then, like, you're my brother-in-law. TJ is a brother to me. Like, my parents are my parents, but if we have kids, like, I'm their parent, you know what I mean? That is my direct family.
Yeah,
Yes, that doesn't change any importance of anybody else. However, I have to focus on my family first. I have to do what's best by the people that are my family. So
yeah,
that's
like
go ahead.
I was raised to, be the protector,
Yeah.
and, I'm that way with Hill, I'd be that same way with you, your parents, your sister,
Yeah.
once I'm in the family, I feel like it's my job to
Yeah.
protect.
Yeah. And that's something that for me is definitely the definition of success, is being able to have a family and not just obtain like my long-term goals, but Haley's, and then hopefully our future families, like our children and whatnot. That to me is a definition of success, just being able to have that kind of like TJ's answer is the the freedom of that success brings, not necessarily monetary, but just being able to sit on your front porch and watch your kids play, and have the grandparents around and have your brother-in-law and sister and everybody, you know what I mean? Like, that to me is
Yep.
the definition of success. Don't get me wrong, I'd love $100 million. I'm not
Sure.
saying that,
Oh, wouldn't we all?
I'm sure that definitely
Yeah,
helps with the success portion of the definition, but
Yeah.
that to me is a long way away. You know what I mean? I don't
yeah,
plan
yeah,
on
but then
having to
again,
have
people who
money.
have the $100 million may not have a successful life at all, they may
Right.
hate their life,
Right.
you know?
Which
It
is something
It's
that I
also
actually,
possible.
this is totally separate. This isn't anything that like I plan on talking about, but portion of a podcast that I listened to the other day is dependence is needed, independence is or sorry, dependence is a necessity, independence is needed.
Yep,
Independence meaning like you're on your own. Me and Haley are down here. TJ's on his own. You and Hill live away from our family. Yes, you're still close, but you have that independence. Whereas dependence,
right,
especially as a man, is needed. Like, I need someone to rely on me, to have that drive, to feel like I am successful. And I think
yeah,
that's my definition of success is dependence is needed. Like, not only do I need someone to rely on, like Haley or my parents or whatever, I need people to rely on me as a man to be able to feel like I'm important and wanted and needed around. That's, I think that is the definition of success for me. Now, would you say, with the way you have defined success, that today you are successful as of now, or you are trending that way in your life?
well, like I said, I'm working towards that big goal of my life. I got to get that motivation to work towards it. But being married, being in the house, especially to Hill,
Yeah.
I feel successful every day.
Hell yeah.
Every day I wake up, I have a full time job. I got a vehicle, got a roof over my head.
Exactly.
That's success. You know.
Yeah. It's definitely not the feat it was, and not that ancestors and previous generations didn't have to work hard, but today's day and age, it's not easy to have a house, to have a car,
No,
to
not at
produce a
all.
life worth living. You know what I mean? And maybe sometimes it doesn't feel like it's worth living for a lot of people, and that's the little things you have to look at is, hey, I have a house over my head. I'm able to afford my rent. I'm able to get that meal for dinner. I'm able to like drive to work every day and not have to worry. So that definitely goes a long way. TJ, would you say that based off of your definition of success, are you trending that way, or do you feel like you are successful?
I definitely don't feel successful for for sure, but I'm trying to trend that way, but I would say right now, no.
Gotcha. I think the same thing for me is we're doing the right things to get there. Obviously, long way to go, but the
Right.
definition of success is very hard to obtain in what I think how we defined it of trying to find that. Obviously, I feels that type of success with how far me and Haley have come. But a lot of people, including myself, don't know how to accept success, which is something that you mentioned earlier. I recently listened to the Diary of a CEO episode with Richard Hammond on it. He's from Top Gear. He's somebody that I've watched my entire life. He's a shorter
Goaded.
guy. Love them both. Love the podcast. Love Richard Hammond. The episode's a few years old, but I just found it the other day. And he talks about not loving his success. He speaks about his insecurities and always being small. He's definitely a shorter guy and just having to always be the louder or bigger person in the room trying to fit in. Even after always wanting the success, when he finally got it, he struggled with it. And I feel like I relate to that in a lot of ways. I do want success, but I don't want the hey, great job. I don't want the attaboy. Shouldn't say I don't want it because I do. I just don't ever handle it well, and Haley will attest to that. That's just not something that I do well with ever. Like a good job, good boy, like you know what I mean. That just doesn't work for me. And pretty much anyway. Would you guys say you're one of those people? Do you find yourself being that type of person, not being able to accept success in a lot of ways?
I I don't know. With like everything I have accomplished, so way before I met Hill back in 2015, I think it was, I went through the Vermont Correctional Academy to be a correctional officer,
Hmm.
and I graduated the academy, and
Awesome.
it was like the biggest thing for me. It was huge,
Yeah.
especially the physical fitness portion of it,
Yeah.
because there was me, and then there was guys who were like just out of the military who were doing it, and
Yeah.
they would run right past you in the mile run. But one huge thing that stood out to me, and this goes to your good job, whatever, attaboy type thing,
Hmm.
is so once they got done with their mile run, they would run back to us slow guys.
Yeah.
And they would say, "Hey, you're doing good. Keep up the pace. Keep going." And that motivated me to do more, to do better.
Yeah.
So I cut 5 minutes off my mile run,
Hell yeah.
uh, from the beginning to the end. And I would say I'm pretty good at accepting success because it makes me, whenever I'm successful in something, it just makes me feel really good. I feel accomplished.
Yeah, see, like for me, again, it's just like the immediate acknowledgement of like, all right, sick. What's next? Like the goal's over. Something I wrote a while ago was like graduation. Graduation just felt like I graduated high school and moved on. College, there was to me there was no like culmination of college because we didn't get a graduation. So
Right.
for us, like it just ended and it was like, okay, next goal. Like here we go. We're moving halfway across the country in 6 months. Like this is what we're doing. We're gonna work two jobs, we're gonna fucking do it, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. And we did it, which is great. Hoorah. Like first year sucked and since then it's been really great. But it's never been something that I've been able to like sit down, let's have a celebratory dinner or whatever. So wedding's going to be interesting for sure. That's a lot of attention that I'm definitely not looking forward to. But obviously I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to the wedding and I'm very excited, but there's definitely like a lot of hey,
should be, man.
congratulations, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there is, but that's a huge. That'll be you
Yeah,
and
it's
you and
it's
Haley been
different
together
for
for how
sure.
long?
12 years, 12 and a half.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be huge for you. It's a
Yeah,
huge
obviously
day.
like it's not that I'm not
It's gonna be like the
excited, it's
most
just like
important. Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just different. TJ, what about you, man? Do you feel like you find yourself to be one of those people? I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say I kind of touched on it earlier, but my biggest issue is I'm always like, yeah, I should have did that already.
yeah,
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, obviously no, I don't
yeah.
uh accept it well, but like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just always been a big problem of mine.
Every time I kind of like think that way myself, or like just things that are going on in the world, is like I look at the past and see, oh yeah, I mean, my parents had their own house when my sister was born, which my dad has a 30-year age gap to me. So when they moved to that house, when I guess I don't know what year it was, but I think I was born at that time when they moved into their house or their current home. Um, is like I have to remind myself like, hey, I'm only 28. I got a long way to go. Um, so when I think that way, I try to remind myself like, oh, Einstein was like 40, or like Bill Gates was 37 when he founded whatever. I just try to find those type of instances where like, yeah, you don't have to be 25 and have your shit together, just because that's what
Yeah.
content and everything in social media tell you. Which again,
Yep.
going back to the wedding and stuff, love can definitely be easy in a lot of ways, especially when you're with someone you actually love.
You know, I don't. Love isn't easy because you know why? Because it takes a lot of effort on both sides.
Yeah,
But when you both put in that effort, it is the most rewarding thing that I could think of.
yeah, I
You
agree.
know?
It's like you said, it's not that it's easy, but it is easy when you're with somebody that you love, because no
Oh,
matter what
absolutely.
happens,
Yep.
you're going to
Yep.
have that kind of the same end goal. Like, no, this is it. Like, we're doing this. There's no going back. I have to own what's happening right here and what's happening right
Yep.
now. And building a family is definitely something you value, like I mentioned earlier, and it's definitely one of the most important things to you.
Yeah. It is extremely important to me, and like as far as family goes, like we've always been on like the fence about children.
Yeah,
We'll sit there and both think, oh, we really want kids, and then we see kids, and we're like, no, we don't want kids.
yeah,
We're we're
Type
happy
shit.
with our
Yeah.
we're happy with our dog.
with our
We
Yeah, like
can
sanity.
another
we can
dog
go the
don't
rest of our
sound too
lives.
bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I think, kind of the same thing. No one's gonna sit there and tell you that family's not important, even people that don't treat their family as an importance in their life.
Right.
But it's something, like I said earlier, it's just something that you have portrayed yourself as being of importance, not just we talk about it on the podcast. It's how you carry yourself, and it's who you are as a person, which is obviously of high value to a lot of people. It's trust, it's
Sure.
loyalty, everything. So I think that loving someone like that makes life a lot easier, especially in Hill's case. And I think even TJ, who isn't in a current long-standing relationship, can attest to, like, when you truly love someone and they love you back, it can make things a lot easier, regardless of whether that ends or not.
Yeah.
Going off of that, you've been married to Hill now for going on a year, or just over a year. When's your guys'
Yeah.
anniversary again?
October 4th.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
we're almost there. We're
just
getting pretty
under a year.
close.
This year has
Yep.
been crazy. I can't believe it's already August. But you've been with Hill for
Yeah.
now several years as a whole. How has the adjustment, or how much of an adjustment have you made in your life since being married?
So I'll speak for the both of us on this.
Okay.
The biggest adjustments we've made have been since we've been on our own.
Yeah.
That's been since June, I believe.
Hmm.
And just we finally have the house together. We feel like a married couple. So now we're figuring out
I
all
was
the
trying to figure out
things
what you
that
meant by been on your own, and I was like, brother, you guys have like lived together for a minute. Like, you
No,
haven't lived at home
yeah,
in a long time. But it's because I
yep,
forgot who you guys used to live with.
yeah, yeah. And let me tell you, it's been wonderful
Good.
since then. We actually feel like a married couple.
Yeah.
So as far as like cleaning and everything, we work great as a team. We do our best to make sure the house is spotless, except for our dog who likes to shed constantly. But he
Yeah.
doesn't really help out with
I
that.
hear
But
you.
and
Yeah.
one big thing, when I read the question that stood out to me was, so before I met Hill, I used to buy and sell guns all the time because I didn't really have the money. Like I kept trying them out,
Yeah.
and then I would sell one, put it towards another one, and you lose a shit ton of money on that.
Yeah.
You do. And since I've been with Hill, I sold maybe one, two guns
Nice.
through that whole time. So I actually have like a really decent collection right now. And I'll
Oh yeah.
remind her about that all the time. Like, hey, look at all the guns I have. I haven't sold any
Yeah. Yeah.
guns because I think when I met Hill, I had like one or two, and I have we're up to 10 now. So
Yeah, so that was always
Nice.
Haley's thing with like cards and stuff. So like now I've started selling a
yeah,
lot of my collection, but
yeah.
Haley's thing every time I would like go to buy cards and she's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, dude, in 10 years when we need fucking 10 grand, it's a piece of cardboard, but man, people will pay money for them. So like, it's an emergency fund that we can move quick. Like, there's cards
Yeah.
people will buy today. So um, I definitely hear you on starting collecting instead of selling because now I'm selling shit and I hate it because it's so much work.
Yeah,
It's
it
it's
is.
it's an annoying amount of work, and I hate
I can
that.
Yep.
imagine.
Now going off of that, you mentioned being on your own and kind of living in the house, and now that you kind of have it situated where you want it, being given the house, and I feel like you guys have came to me probably, I don't know, 74 times saying that you guys want to talk to me about something. I don't know why, but this is what I get the feeling the topic is about. So this is a question that I for sure want to ask you, and when we have Hill on, I want to ask her the same question. And I told her I had a question that I want to ask both of you. This is it.
Yep.
Being given the house and the land obviously is a blessing in a lot of ways, and I don't think anybody will ever deny that. But I'm sure it's also been a lot of weight to bear given the circumstances and the condition of the house and how everything happened. Can you elaborate on that and what has it been like for you and Hill?
Yeah. So
I'm
as far as
interested
like
to see
the
how different these answers are as well.
right. So as far as like the weight to bear, it doesn't fall on me nearly as much as it does Hill.
Of course.
You know, it you know, and I've always been that type of person where like I could pick up and move to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did moving here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
Hill and I decided we were moving here and I was gone,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, I as far as the house itself goes, I love this house. I
Yeah.
love the property. I love what comes in it. I just don't like what state it's in at all. Not one
Yeah.
bit.
That's fair.
But
Sure.
yeah, like a lot of the weight to bear that's definitely more so on Hill. And
Gotcha.
you know, I'll let her go through that with you
Gotcha.
when you talk to her about that.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said. I know you guys have been wanting to talk about a lot of stuff recently, and we just haven't
Yeah,
had really the time to just get alone and have
yeah,
conversations. Not that that conversation needs to happen on the podcast, of course. This is just something
right,
that I mean, me and Haley have talked about before. Like, I can imagine how much, not necessarily a burden it is, because it's not a burden, but
yeah,
it also is in a lot of ways. And it's a blessing of, yeah, like we got this house, but the circumstances of which we were given it is something that we'll have to
right,
live with, thinking
right.
about every single day as we live in this house or ride in the back. And it's one of my favorite places on earth. I love that house. I love the land. I love the trails in the back. I love the garage. Like it's a place I'll always, remember and hold in my heart.
Yep.
Uh
And
and
you know, that's like another thing I was going to touch on is, you know, I don't have history here.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah,
entire
which makes
life
the ties a lot
wasn't here. So,
looser.
yeah, and that's you know like when we talk about moving or whatnot, you know, that's what I really take a look on is Hill's
Yeah.
feelings of that because this is her history.
Yeah.
You know, like when I look at my dad's house, that's my history. But at the same time, like I know I would never really, I wouldn't want to move back to Vermont.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I always take into consideration Hill's memories, how she feels about the house, you know,
Yeah. Just be
when
considering
it
that
comes
way
to
for
moving.
sure. Now, like for me and
Yeah,
Haley, that's something we've talked about a lot. I mean, we've lived down here for now. It'll be almost 6 years in October that we've lived in Tennessee. We've lived in this house for 3 years. Come the time we move, so definitely have a lot of memories in this house and like our previous apartment. Just over the last 5 years and the people we've met, the parties we've
yeah,
had, and what
absolutely.
we've done. But we've talked about that a lot. Like, hey, do we want to move home, raise our kids back home? Do we want to raise them here? Which I think we would rather raise the kids and have schooling here or even be homeschooled rather than be schooled in New York, unless we can be in Mayfield. But like that's the ultimate goal is a house down here, a house up there, and travel back and forth, or even just a camp up there that we can go to and stay at any time. So like
Yeah,
not just memory wise, but home will always be home. I don't know if I will ever permanently live in New York again, but definitely would still want to travel there. It would make it a lot easier with everything. Um,
Right.
and just, life in general with how our entire families are up there. Now, moving on from the house and home and whatnot, going into meaning in life as we take it or things that come our way, do you think people find meaning or do you think people create it? This is a very interesting question. I'm intrigued to see how both of you are going to answer it.
Yeah, I'd say it's both. I definitely say it's both because we have the values from our parents.
Hmm.
What our parents teach us growing up. That's
Yeah.
where we find a lot of our meaning in things. It's how we look at things today. A lot of what our parents have taught us growing up,
Yeah.
and then we find our own meaning, our own values,
Yeah.
stuff that we come up with ourselves that we hold dearly and will protect.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I would agree. It's definitely both. It almost plays hand in hand though, because I feel like people creating it and then they find it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like everyone has different
Yeah,
signs or symbols or whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
so I would say it's kind of both. You kind of create it and then you're like, oh my God, that's blah blah blah. So
Yeah. Now,
yeah, I would say
so
both.
yeah, for me, I mean, I don't think I really believe in either. Something that I definitely don't believe in is manifesting. Like you can't just say it over and over till it happens, or faking it till you make it per se. But I do believe that if you truly believe something is going to happen and that you own what you're doing, it can happen. Whether that's believing, in love, or believing that it'll work, or believing in a dream, or that the goal will happen, it will. Like I don't think it's a finding a meaning or creating a meaning, if that makes sense. I think it's more of defining what it is. um I feel like that's a very interesting way to look at it, but I don't think anybody can just sit there and say, oh yeah, I willed this to happening. I It's just not how the cards work, you know what I mean? You can't just say, oh, I'm going to be the biggest streamer and stream every day and it just works. Like you have to do things to make that happen,
yeah,
and that goes into being driven and being successful, and having that mentality of I'm going to make this work. Not that it just happens or it's going to work. You have to do things to make it work. It doesn't just fall into place. It's not a manifest. It's not a, yeah, this is just going to work and faking it. Like you can't just say it's going to happen. You have to make it happen. Something that I wrote in my journal, I feel like I've been talking about that a lot lately. Life to me is to be owned, it's not to be rented. You have to own your marriage, own your home, and own your life. This is how I believe people should truly treat their life. And in your own life, or if you own your life or own how you carry yourself, whatever you're striving for will be achieved. For instance, like think of your job or anything like that. If you show up every day like you love it, even if you don't, and work hard because you want to, believing this can make you successful. That's different than showing up every day thinking it's just a job, I'll get out of here someday, or this just isn't my end game. Do you really own that portion? Will it ever mean anything to you? Will it ever be successful? Will you be successful daily? Every day should be a win, every day should be owned. That's how I feel people should view life.
yeah. I agree, 100%. Absolutely. Like we talked about what my goal is for a job, but at the same time, I do love my job. I love what I do. I wake up in the morning. Everybody's not like, oh yeah, I'm super happy to go to work today, but
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh shit, I got to go to work now. I got to go be miserable.
Yeah.
I love the guys that I work with. I love my crew. Love what I do.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
something that I've had to kind of like train myself on because work has sucked this year. Basically, since December, it's been, you know, shit show after shit show. I couldn't tell you the last time I went home was like,
yeah,
man,
you've been
that was a
saying
good
that.
day or whatever. But that doesn't mean I don't wake up every morning. Yes, I'm pissed off. I don't want to be there, but I try to wake up every day and remind myself, like, hey, man, you got a job, you got a roof over your head. This is a win. Like, you're
Yep.
not on the brink of getting fired. You're doing your job. You're doing great at it. Like people are acknowledging that. Like wake up, do your job, act like you love it even if you don't. Not that has a different meaning than going and manifesting it or faking it till you make it. Because I'll be the first to tell you I don't love my job, but if I show up every day like I love my job, that means I'm going to be successful every single day, because there's going to be something that I can prevent just by having a good attitude or a smile on my face.
Absolutely.
Now, reading the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, this is something I don't know if I've mentioned the book specifically on the podcast, but that's what triggered me to start journaling, and it's a book that I'll always recommend to people. In this book, he talks about finding, basically, he goes to college to become a law student, to become a lawyer. It's something that he always thought he was going to be. And as he's fumbling through all these books that are on this coffee table after a frat party, he was in a frat. He's going through like Playboys, Penthouse, just all these magazines. And in all these magazines, he finds a book. And for whatever reason, I can't remember what the book is called. I think it's called The World's Greatest Salesman, is what I think the book is called. And he opened it up to the first page, read the first page, and it's basically just like, you're the greatest salesman in the world. Like, who is it? And it's you. And he takes the book up to his friend, says, hey, can I borrow this book? He reads it, and it changes his entire view on life of, essentially, I need to chase my dream. I need to do what I want to do. If I don't do what I want to do or do what I love, I'm never going to be successful in any way that I feel it. So that's something for me. This book came across my life inadvertently. It was a book that was shipped to Haley's work. The guy never picked it up, sat there for 6 months. She brought it home, said, hey, do you want it? And I said, yeah, I'll read it. It's a similar story in a much different way, and now it just means a lot to me. And that's what it's about. It's about finding your next green lights by being able to realize that even after all the green lights on your way to work, everyone still needs a yellow or a red light. Sometimes we have to find comfort in the uncertainty and hunt for them ourselves. We need to sweat. To me, that's some of the reason we are moving, to force a red light, force ourselves into the uncertainty of our future in order to have home ownership, marriage, and life beyond just me and Haley, and have a family. Is we're kind of forcing that upon ourselves. And I think that's very
Right.
interesting. How do you guys feel about what I just said? What does that make your thought or brain think? It's a lot. I'm sorry.
It is a lot. I don't. It just, a lot of times you do got to hit red lights.
Hmm.
You do.
We've all
You know
experienced
it.
them. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. It's a red lights that can make you more successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TJ, what about you?
I think it depends on just like you can't get too ahead of yourself. Sometimes, like for lack of better wording, you need some humbling every once
Yeah.
in a while, and life will do that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think
Um,
it's really tough because everybody's had those days where you're catching every green light on the way to work, and you're like, holy shit, today's gonna be a good day. And then you get to work and it's red light after red light. You know what I mean? There's just something going
Yep.
wrong. And other days you're really looking forward to getting to work. You're like, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get my coffee. You pull up, there's a 4 mile line at Dunkin' slowing you down. But then when you get to work, there's an accident right in front of it. If you didn't stop to get coffee, maybe that was, you not slowing down in time. It would have been you in that accident. So that's something that I think of very often as well, in terms of like red light, green lights, certain things like that. I'm trying to find this quote that I actually wrote down as well, um, going off of being humble, and I'm trying to find it, but it's essentially, here we go. Baseline gratitude and humbleism and understanding how to accept success. Those are three things that a lot of people need to learn. I have a lot of notes in my phone. I'm sorry. I'm kind of just rambling about a bunch of different shit right now. But
you're good.
that's what it is not necessarily you need to be humbled, but you need to sweat. Like, there's certain things that you have to be driven for
Absolutely.
and grind for, that you need to make work. Like I said, it's not just saying it's going to work out. Like, every Friday I get
Yep.
Dunkin', whether I'm late to work or not. I don't give a fuck. Every Friday I look forward to getting Dunkin' coffee in the morning. I don't care. Dave Ramsey can say what he wants. I will get my $7.58 cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts every single Friday. That to me is like, I know that's going to be a green light no matter how long the wait is, how late I am for work, what repercussions it's going to have. I'm going to force that green light because it's a green light I can control. However, it is
Something to
forcing
look
red
forward
lights
to.
in the day. If I show up at 9:12, I may have 3 calls waiting for me when I get in. I may have
Yeah.
people waiting in my office when I get in. It's forcing that red light to become uncomfortable with the uncertainty
I
or
mean, hey,
become comfortable in that uncertainty.
how many red lights did you have trying to perfect your barbecue sauce, buddy?
That's what I'm saying. Like I tried to make a barbecue sauce 100 times and I gave up on it,
Yeah.
stopped making it for a long time. The first year we moved down here, no, it was the second year we were down here. I was like, I'm gonna try again. I was reading a bunch of shit and it made me want to like do it again. I think I can figure it out. I think this is what we're missing. And we figured it out. It took a lot of love, passion, green lights, yellow, and red lights, man. It's important that
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
find something to put us off track. That all being said, you've we've all experienced it, right? We've all experienced a red light, a
Yep.
yellow light, green lights in life. I wish I had another analogy for it, but that's to me that is the epitome of life, right? Like you find those different scenarios where I need to stop, take it in, assess the situation to proceed. Not just a stop sign, but a light that I need to stop for and wait. I can't just go. Moving to New York and getting married, a lot of things change. What's one thing in your life that you feel like was a red light that you felt you needed or you needed to force? Again, moving to New York is a big one. That even though in long term is a green light, that's a red light you had to make a decision on and be like, okay, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna sit here and let the traffic go through. I'm going to New York, whatever I have to do. Same thing with us moving to Tennessee. We had to stop. We worked 2 jobs each, 40 hours a day, 40 hours a night, overnight stocking, working at Advance and Walmart to have the money to get to Tennessee. What's a red light that you feel like you forced in your life that maybe made that change?
Well, like before moving here, I had a full time state job. Same thing I do here. I did in Vermont.
Yeah.
I had an apartment. I my entire life was in Vermont, and I know that I was about to get rid of that. And let me tell you, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh yeah.
It is. Was I nervous about it? Absolutely, I was. You know, uh, and also before I moved here, I had a really big problem with letting people walk all over me.
Yeah.
I did. A lot of my family members did that. They tried every bit they could to control me. And one huge thing that has changed since moving here is I stand up for myself.
Hell yeah.
I do not. I did not let
Good
people
for
walk
you.
all over. Yeah.
What would you say made
But
you make that change? Outside of, Hill being as strong willed as she is, I'm sure she helped in that aspect, but what would you say what led to that change outside of just self-realization and having a partner there that's willing to help you do it
yeah, seeing how I was treated moving
from
here
afar?
was a huge eye opener.
Yeah.
Huge eye opener. I would start to get treated as like I was deserting family.
Mhm.
I don't care about them, and not eh, very small amount, very 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 small amount of people was actually happy for me.
Yeah.
Actually happy I was doing this and not looking at this like, oh well, he's never going to want anything to do with us anymore. He
Yeah.
doesn't care about us. Like I care about you, but I'm living my life the way I want to live my life, and that's what I'm going to do. If you don't like it, then well, we haven't
Yeah.
talked in years now.
And that
If,
that's
if,
a really big thing, just what you said. Like it's a cliche term to say you see a lot more when you're away from the situation, with a much broader view, you'll see exactly what's going on from afar. And that stands true. I mean, even for us, not that, nobody was happy for us moving here. I would say most of our family was pretty receptive. But going back on previous conversations we've all had, like I've never had that kind of relationship with my aunts, uncles, cousins, but that doesn't mean I don't love them. They didn't push hatred on me for moving away.
right.
I've never felt like, no one's ever told me, oh, you're abandoning your family moving. So I can't specifically attest to that. But again, you see a lot more of, not necessarily how we were treated, but just you see how a lot of things function more fluidly from afar. TJ, what would you say is a red light that you forced, or even relating off of that, what we just said there?
Um, See, I wouldn't see. I mean, I guess Nashville. Obviously, like
Yeah,
that was
the
one that I
move.
was like. But it was also like the big thing was like honestly my mom passing. Then I was like, okay, like I don't want to say I don't want to word it like this, but like the chain to New York is kind of broke now. I was
Yeah,
like, so now I can actually take this next step. So like it wasn't necessarily like forced by me, but it was like a domino effect.
yeah,
So I mean, which led to me being like, okay, now I need to lock in, get my shit, get to Nashville,
yeah.
and so kind of that, I would say.
Yeah, it's funny talking about this because it's conversations I think we've all had individually, maybe not with the three of us, but like um I've always said, and that's part of, maybe not part of the reason, but part of the reason why I thought, you and Travis should move here, whether it worked out or not, for Travis coming here, it was very eye opening. It helped him realize, like, no, I need to be home. I need to do this. And
Right.
in my personal opinion, he has become a much better man because of it, in terms of the grand scope of things. Um, so like,
Yeah.
I think everybody should move away from home, whether it be 45 minutes, 4 hours, 15 hours, whatever it is,
Right.
because whether it works out or not, you took a shot. It was a red light that you forced upon yourself to see if it worked. For me and Haley, knock on wood, it's worked out so far. Hopefully, our future remains here in a non-state income tax state, because I prefer to keep most of my money. Um, Regardless of that, it's a place that we can be proud of, to say, like, yeah, we've built it here. We wanted to push the boundary of our careers that we have right now would not work where we're from. Like, it's a non-existent job where we're from. It's just not. It's not there. So for us to say, "Oh, we want to go home," obviously wouldn't work. So to look at our life as, okay, yeah, we've built and established basically a home base or a foothold in Tennessee, also allows other people an opportunity to not necessarily, I don't want to say get out, but get out of New York and have that opportunity of moving away and experiencing life in a different point of view, because down here it's totally different. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's
Ah,
wh-
for
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but I'm sure I've said it to you guys before. Going home, which I'm sure is the same for you, Riley, when you go back to Vermont, whenever you do, you realize the mindsets people are in is just like, yep, I'm fucking stuck in New York. I can't do anything. I'm fucking stuck here. Everybody fucking hates me. This sucks. It's everybody else's fault. Like,
Yeah.
being in Tennessee, I don't know a person that lives that way. Like, I don't know a single person that's like, I'm fucking stuck in Tennessee. I can't get out, or I'm stuck here and it's the world's fault. It's the city's fault. It's whatever. Everybody I talk to from New York is essentially that way. Like, I'm
Oh,
stuck here.
Vermont's the
This
same
sucks.
exact way.
Like,
The
now
same
again, it
exact way
could
because
just be a
Vermont is a very
perspective
high
thing.
tax state as well.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be a perspective thing. Maybe I just don't talk to those type of people, which, life is all the type of people you surround yourself with. But that's a red light I think everybody should experience, man. Like, everybody should put themselves in a situation. I don't know a person that has moved out from where they're from that it just didn't work out in some way, whether it be they moved back home and their life's better for it, or moved here and they're still trying to figure it out, but boy, are they grinding and are they figuring life out on their own hand. They're not being given things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a red light everybody should experience, in a lot of ways. So again, going back to you, Riley, moving to New York, getting married, things change. What's an opinion or specifically a belief, maybe even a political belief, that has changed for you over the last 5 years or however long you've been in New York? How long have you
You
been
know,
in New York? It's been a
let's see,
minute.
3 years.
I was going to say, it was about the time you were on the
Yeah.
podcast, you had moved to New York. I remember working in the car business, selling cars and shit. Like, and Hill was calling me like, "Hey, what do you think about me moving to Vermont?" And I was like, I mean, if you think that's what's best, man, like, well, you moved away or whatever. Like, I still remember standing out on the lot, 98-degree weather, like having that conversation with her. And she, like, I don't even think it was 6 months later, she was calling me asking about potentially moving back to New York. And I was like, if you're asking yourself, should you move back, then you should move back. That's what's best. That's a red light you need to experience. Like, no matter what,
Yeah.
we're going to support you guys. And, um, I was talking to Haley going off of y'all living in New York. I'm sorry to sidebar the question that I asked, but I was like, Riley just kind of appeared in my life. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't remember like when they got together, how like they started talking. I just remember one day, like, she was at, like, my first memory of you was her being like, yeah, what do you think about me moving to Vermont? And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, in my head right now, I can't remember like
Yeah.
how you appeared in my life throughout this. And maybe that's a bad thing, but that's a positive memory that like I hold on to, because
Right.
not only is that you making that change, but back to the question, what's one opinion or a belief or a political belief that has changed for you since you moved to New York or over the last 5 years, whatever you feel better about?
That goes back to what I was saying. Like the biggest thing is like learning how to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
That has been the biggest thing for me. Some political beliefs have changed. That's kind of been like the last year or so, really. But
Yeah.
yeah, the biggest thing is learning how to stand up for myself.
Gotcha.
A lot of people don't like it when you stand up for yourself.
No, especially when
They
you've been
don't take
getting
that
walked
very
on.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're finally
Yep.
like, hey, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about you, TJ? What's
Yep.
something that you would say? I mean, you lived down here for now, what, 3, 4 years? What's something that for you
Yeah.
has changed, maybe specifically like belief or political wise?
Um, oh man, I guess I don't really know. I mean, I will say I believe in myself a bit better. Like knowing, I've been here, yeah, almost 4 years now. So like,
What a nice thing to say,
um,
man.
what do you mean?
Especially like just what we talked about earlier. And you're like, I definitely like feel better about myself. Like, I definitely have changed my
I
opinion
mean,
about
trying.
myself. But you know what I'm saying? Like how you answered the first few questions to say that, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, yeah, you're good. But yeah, I don't know. Just like instead of thinking I can do it, I'm actually kind of doing it now. Like I'm not obviously where I need to be, but like I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever will be mentally. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I but I don't know about like political beliefs. I wouldn't say anything changed like too much.
I don't,
I mean, well, a lot's changed, but not like
yeah,
my beliefs wise, I guess.
I gotcha. I think politically for me, nothing's really changed. I mean, I'd probably have to ask Haley because she usually is the one that asks me the political questions. And I'm like, yeah, this is how I feel. So, I'm not
Yeah.
a very political person. I just kind of believe what I believe, and you believe whatever you believe. And as long as the economy's good and I have money in my pocket and build, a family, I'm fine. Whatever.
Yep.
Um, so I think politically, nothing's really changed. My viewpoint. I work. I've said this before. I work with a lot of Democratic people. I've never. I'm a registered Democrat. I always have been since I registered to vote in 2016, my first presidential election. Um, I just felt like I always leaned more that way, and the more like life goes on, that party to me is just going way too far off the deep end with a lot of stuff. Um,
Yep.
so I've pretty much mostly voted Republican in a lot of ways. However, like down here, the most of the time the Republican candidate, which speaking of, we'll talk about in a minute, and one of the next few questions is Marsha Blackburn. I've never once heard anybody say anything good about her. I'm not gonna lie. She's up for the Republican candidacy for the governor of the state of Tennessee, and everything I look in is like that's questionable. That's a questionable stance. Like that's not very friendly. Um
Mhm.
so who knows? Maybe I vote Democrat. I don't know. We'll see, but it's I like I said, I would say I'm pretty similar to how I've always thought. Everybody should be able to do whatever they want, own whatever guns, smoke whatever weed. Like, don't push it on me. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't care. Do whatever you want. That's what freedom is supposed to be, I guess. So, one thing that I think like belief wise has changed um is I've never been a religious person. I still wouldn't say I'm a religious person. Uh but I feel like I've opened my eyes in a lot of ways. Like I just like hearing people
Yeah.
talk about what they believe regardless of what the religion is. So I would say that's definitely changed. Something that I'd never talked about when I was a kid. So just in the last 5 6 years, the amount of people that are Christians or whatever telling me stories about why they believe in God or how they found God and whatnot is very interesting to me. However, it's just again, it's not something that's really for me. Um, Now, what's something Riley, that you believe today that most people your age probably disagree with or strongly disagree with?
Uh, I don't. It might go to the religious aspect of it, honestly. I don't know if a lot of people would strongly disagree with this, but
Hmm.
I've never been a believer of the Bible. Of I've never been a believer of that. My honest belief is that yeah, there's something out there.
That's
Well,
how I
I'm
feel.
hopeful that there's.
Yeah, like there
I hope
has to
there's
be
something
something.
out
There's
there,
no reason
and
it's just us.
when we die, that's when we get the answer.
Yeah,
I don't believe that some dude separated two oceans. I don't believe that somebody
yeah.
was resurrected from the dead and is the savior of all mankind.
See, yeah, like going off of
I
that
don't believe
too.
in that.
I don't feel that way. Like I feel the same way. Something that I again going back to talk about these things with other people is finding those interesting stories of what they do believe and what they don't believe. Like I don't think
Right.
probably other than Jeff maybe I don't know someone that's like a devout, no, I 100% stand by everything that's written in the Bible or written in this
Yeah.
book. Um, but like, again, just trying to learn and, expand the knowledge of just different
Yeah.
shit. There's like vast stuff that would make you believe that like the earth did flood,
Yeah.
like Noah's Ark. Like there is stuff that you're like, all right, hold on a minute, maybe it did happen. Now that's not to say maybe it's not all true, but
Right.
I'm the same. I'm of the same thing, man. I don't know. It's not that
Yeah.
I doubt it. If it happened, damn. If it didn't, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. I'm not. I've never been to church in my life. I've never sat
Yeah.
through any sermon. It's not something that's ever been brought
Well,
to me in life.
funny you mentioned that because I grew up going to church.
Yeah.
I grew up with my parents always bringing me to church, and one thing I will say, if you take the God and Jesus aspect out of it, there's a lot of good messages.
Yeah. For
There
sure.
are. There really are. There's a lot of
That's
good
why I like
messages,
hearing
that
people talk
that
about it,
can
man.
help motivate you. Like somebody who's going through, a mental episode, they're not feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good messages out there.
Yeah. My buddy
But
Jordan.
for me, I just take the God and Jesus aspect out of it, and
Yeah, my buddy Jordan, his dad was a preacher. I met him down here through car sales. We started selling cars at the same time. And if you didn't know this about him, you would never suspect it about him. So his dad was a preacher. He grew up in Florida, ended up going to school. I don't think he went to Liberty. I can't remember where he went to school. But he went to school to basically become a preacher. He has like a bachelor's degree in like religious science or whatever. And when we first started, we worked at a Ford dealership that was very slow at the time. And so we had a lot of downtime just standing on the lot. We were the new kids. We weren't getting leads. We were just sitting there talking. So he would just talk to me about God and like just random shit. Like I don't go out of my way to watch a preacher. I don't go to Sunday sermons. Like that's just not for me.
right, yeah,
But I like hearing people's personal experiences about religion because
yeah.
every single person is different. It's so interesting that it's always different no matter what. No matter I couldn't name another book that everybody reads and everybody has a different perspective on what they read in that book, whether it
Well, like,
be God's words or what.
how do you feel like about like spirituality? Like, do you believe in spirits? Like
Like ghosts and
you
shit?
walk
Yeah,
into a house.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
So
believe in that?
interesting story, bro. Haley's grandparents came down, probably about a year or two now. Came down here and we went and toured Belle Mead, which is like an old Civil War home. And they have like the original slave houses and the slave master's house. And the one you can go in, and I kid you not, like I walked in and I was like, I literally looked at Haley, was like, I don't belong in here. Like, I don't need to be in this because it's a room smaller than this. It's a house smaller than this.
You just immediately
And
felt
I literally
that
walked in
that
and I was
negative
like,
energy.
this is not comfortable. Like something's in
Yep.
here, or like something's telling me not to be in this room. So like we stood there for maybe 5-10 minutes. It's like the original blankets, the bed of like 200
Oh,
years
that's
ago.
crazy.
And I was like,
Wow.
nope, don't need to be in here. And I've had that feeling before, but not as strong as that one. And I wouldn't say like, oh, ghosts are for sure a real thing, but I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I just walked in and was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah. You know, like the stereotypical ghost. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But what one thing I learned uh from my paramedic that I used to work with back when I did rescue is
Hmm.
that there is electricity in the body.
Hmm.
When you die, that electricity's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't just disappear, you know. And
Yeah.
that's one way I look at it. Like a lot of calls I've been on, whatever you wonder while you're working on somebody, are they watching you work on them?
Yeah.
As you're trying to do
What's
it, but
this
yeah,
is going to be a weird kind of cross to that. Have you guys ever seen Breaking Bad, the show?
Yes.
no, I never got into it. No,
It's very slow in the first season, but I think it's in the first season when you get a flashback to Walt where they're like, what makes up a human body? Like not that they're dissecting a human body, but they are like getting the exact percentages of everything that's in a human body. And at the end of it, they're like, well, we got everything, but we're 0.03 whatever million numbers percent from 100%. So something's missing. And like they end up coming to the conclusion of what it is, but at first Walt's like, maybe it's the soul. Like, and dude, that's where it is. Like that's what I believe is there there is a spirituality to us. There's more than just this earth in some way. You know what I mean? We can't be the only living beings on the planet. Does that make sense? Or
Oh,
not
for
on the
sure.
planet, but in the universe. Like, there's no way, mathematically, statistically speaking, there's no way it's just us. But yeah, so like,
So I took that opportunity.
I
So
truly believe that there has to be life outside of Earth. Like, there's just no way statistically, and like going off of that, that's something that I would say a lot of people obviously disagree with. But I don't
not to
know.
totally cut you off, but to
Yeah.
sidebar off of you saying this is gonna sound really stupid, but like Rick and Morty has kind of like made me think about like possibilities, I guess. Like not
Okay.
like obviously not the shit that goes on in the show,
Yeah.
but I'm talking like I'm like, man, like what if there is
Life forms.
alternate
Yeah.
fucking dimensions or yeah, something out there that we just can't reach.
Yeah, I
yeah,
I think there has to be, man. There's just no way it's not a thing.
I would I would imagine.
Now, would you say again politically, we've kind of touched on it a little bit. Would you say it's time for a regular person to be put in office? Like just your when I say regular person, I
Regular.
just mean like a middle of the road, not Democratic, not Republican. They're just a regular dude or woman that just yeah, man, do whatever you want. Like I'm just
dude, I am so sick of the Democrat and Republican thing.
yeah.
I am so sick of it. It has gone way too far on both sides.
Yeah.
You got the far right, and then you got the far left, and it is just it makes the United States look like a fucking kindergarten class.
Yeah. Yeah, and
It really does. It's
that's what it
pathetic.
is. It's just people pointing and arguing all the time.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
like politically. I'm obviously more conservative, but if there was an American political stance, that would be me.
Yeah. Like
If that makes sense. Like
I
I'm not
told Haley a
I'm not
long time
I
ago
get
like
what
Republican.
you
I want
mean.
to
I'm
run
not
for office.
Democrat. I'm an American.
Yeah. I just want to run for office and be like, "Hey man, we'll figure it out. Put a bunch of politicians around me." You know what I mean? Put a bunch of
Dude,
people
Kane
that
Shire
know
for
what the fuck
president
they're doing.
2032. I'm all for it.
Put a bunch of people around me that have been there before, that know what the fuck they're doing. And
Yep.
then let me make the policies, and when people are like, "Hey, this won't work because of this," we'll figure it the fuck out. Like,
We could
Yep.
powwow this
yeah,
thing.
like, well,
Yeah, we can.
we're a fucking team here. This is democracy, not a fucking dictatorship. So,
Yep.
I think it's time that a middle of the road person, but going off of that, do you think it's possible for a regular person not to be bought? So like that's the big stipulation is, these super PACs or whatever of like people paying for a campaign of like doing what to force your ads out there and shit. Whether you approve of it or not, do you think that's possible? Because you wouldn't have basically hardly any financial backing unless you go for Republican or Democrat and you push what the people that are paying you to do push.
Yeah, I want to think so,
Yeah.
but then you look and see just how fucked everything is today,
Yeah.
and you see how many people were bought.
Yeah.
So a YouTuber I follow, he's a gun tuber, but he's also running for Congress in Texas. His name
Okay.
is Brandon Herrera. Have you ever heard of him?
I have not. No.
So he is he's that regular guy we're talking about.
Okay.
And he is completely against politicians being bought. He won't go for any of that. You
Yeah.
know, he it, and it's really good to see regular people like that. But way too many people these days are bought because the times are the way they are. You know,
And
you
that's
you
what I
you,
mean. Like,
you
do you
you're
think?
struggling, you're trying to get somewhere. Somebody's like, hey, if you go this way, we'll give you $200 million.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So
You know?
that's for me. I mean, if you look at a lot of aspects of certain, political figures or whatever changing their point of views over several months before certain things happen to them,
Yeah.
is it possible, like, say this guy gets elected for a representative position or some type of political position in Texas? Again, I'm not familiar with the situation. Is there a ceiling? Like, do you think he could go all the way? I don't
Oh,
think it'd be possible to get far because even your counterparts, so like the other
you're saying
reps,
without being bought, basically.
not necessarily without being bought, but without taking money. So, like, what I mean is, again, super PACs will be like, yeah, here's $20 million for your campaign. However, you need to stand on abortion or whatever, right?
Right.
He wouldn't say he doesn't accept that money. There's not necessarily, oh, I don't have the money for a campaign, but you're also going to have the other representatives in the House, in the Senate, in Congress of some sort, or other politicians being like, yeah, fuck this guy. Like, oh, he
Yeah.
says he's Republican, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he wants this, or like, he says
Yeah.
he's Democratic. So, like, could you go and vote, or would you run as a libertarian or something like that, or part of the Green Party, whatever the fuck? I don't know what any of them mean, but how far could you get not being on one side or the other, truly being just a average run of the mill person?
Yeah. Well, so the last election that he was involved in, he lost by his opponent by 400 votes,
Okay.
and he actually just won the primaries
Mm-hmm.
a couple months ago by a landslide because it turns out his opponent was actually in some sexual harassment stuff.
Shocker.
Yeah, I
Nice.
know. And those are the guys who are bought.
That's what I mean. Like, there's just
Those are the
there
guys who are bought.
just an average person. Like, I
Yep.
think it's so hard to view it like this, but like you look at the old days of like townships and whatnot, like they would literally just pick out random people in the crowd and be like, you know what? I like this guy. He would make a
Yeah.
great fucking master of coin or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
if you ever want to look him up too, he's actually a really really cool guy.
yeah, you'll have to
Brandon
go
Brandon
ahead.
Herrera.
Brandon Herrera. Brandon or
Yep.
Brendan?
Brandon.
Okay.
Brandon.
I'll have to look him up.
Yeah.
Going back to something that we had talked about earlier. Again, it's kind of funny how this is all looped together, all going with the theme of like being driven in a way over something. I'm a believer that humans should not be as informed as we are, or that we weren't destined or designed to understand or know as many people or have seen as many people as we do. There's a belief that our brains were only made to know a limited number of people throughout our lives. In addition, I've read several stories that state like humans weren't made to see ourselves more than like 3 to 5 times in our lifespan, because obviously before the invention of an actual mirror, you see yourself in water and passing down by the stream type thing. And I'm
Right.
interested and would love to hear your thoughts on that, guys.
So I have a like what exactly do you mean by informed?
Like if you
What about like the
it's hard to
curtain?
explain, but if you I trying to portray this as how you could actually look this up. But if you look up social media presence throughout the world, right?
Mhm.
And how much crime is in certain areas or, murders or certain things, there is almost a direct correlation to these things throughout the world. That
Yeah.
also being said, we're not informed of those things because there isn't people sending a fucking text out on Twitter or something saying this happened today here, or maybe the police doesn't report. You look at, Chile or different, South American countries that didn't report certain things in like the 80s and the
Yeah.
70s and whatnot, is a little bit different. And that's what I mean by like we were never meant to be as informed as we are seeing, going back to seeing success on social media and
Right.
whatnot. We were never designed to feel that way. Going back to again, the dependence is a necessity, independence is needed. There's a difference in those two things. A necessity means you
Right.
always need dependence. Independence is needed at some point. A necessity is something that you have to have all the time. And if you look at that, I don't need to see, a 24-year-old with fucking 17 cars, a 400,000 square foot mansion with a golf course out back, all because, like, he's hung like a horse. I don't need to see that on my fucking Instagram or Facebook. Like, I don't care. I want to see the shit that I enjoy of like, I want to see racing. I want to see sports. I want to see people that earn a fucking living. Like, I don't want to see that other shit, you know? And that's what I mean by like we're just too informed. We know too much about everybody else's lives, regardless of like what the situation is.
I yeah. It's too easy to put all of your life just out there for anyone to judge and see and witness. So I do agree that I don't know about too informed because I do think it helps in certain aspects of knowing what's going on across the
Yeah,
world
I just mean like too informed
or
of other people's lives. Like
oh yes.
that's
Okay.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Like we were never meant to
Yeah.
know about each other's lives like this. Like
Yeah.
I shouldn't be seeing a penthouse in China because again, the guy's just hung. Like why do I need that in my life? Why
I
is that
shouldn't
being
be
shown to
seeing
me?
I shouldn't be seeing your baby daddy can't afford school supplies on Facebook, bro.
Like,
Like
what I mean by we were only designed to see or destined to see however many people. You look at the expansion west, man. Look at the colonization of the United States and how people live their life. If you look all over the world, why didn't the Western world at the time develop? It's because they became informed and you know white people are shitty back then, and whatnot. But you know what I'm saying? The reason why
yeah,
they didn't is they weren't informed, but they also didn't need to know that the fucking queen was shagging three guys on the side of the king. Like there's a
true.
difference. There's stuff we should know, and there's stuff that like I was only meant to see the 45 people in my township of Massachusetts, or the fucking three other people that lived in the same cave as me when I light my fire.
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
Yeah. So like, what do you guys think about that? Like, I don't think we were meant to see this many people in our lives.
Yeah. And like what I was trying to say as you couldn't hear me is
Mhm.
what's one big thing you've noticed in social media? Mass shootings.
Yeah.
Mass shootings,
Like before
mental
social
mental
media,
health.
how often did you hear about mass shootings before social media?
Yeah.
You can
Well,
think of
like,
what, Columbine,
yeah, and like
you know?
going off of that, so kind of like I mentioned, you look up like the presence of social media, and like the crime rates are obviously much higher. Um, but like, remember the whole plane situation, like at the beginning of the year and like end of last year and like last year time frame?
Like every plane was crashing.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
that was the question I kept asking myself. Was like, how much does this actually fucking happen? and it's just never talked about
It's
like in this light.
never reported.
And now it's
Yeah.
just like every time you turn around, a plane's crashing because like obviously people care about it. And
Yep.
I think about that all the time. Like, I'm scared of planes. I don't want to get on a plane ever. I don't ever want to be that high in the air with no fucking fight for my life. You know what I mean? I can't do
Well,
anything
at
if
that
this
point, it
fucker
doesn't
starts
matter,
going out.
dude.
That's what I mean. Like, if it's going down, I'm cooked. There is
Yeah,
no
that's it.
self defense of anything.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
There's no stopping it.
Yep.
so, again, like, you it's never like a good thing, and when it is, it's quick and gone. And like, don't get me wrong, the bad things go really quick too. It's whatever's hot at the moment, and that's the same
Yeah.
thing with the plane crashes and whatnot. But I nobody cares about a fucking 80-year-old grandma winning 400 million Powerball. Like, no one cares about that. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, people do. Like, people will be excited for it, but it's like, oh, okay, on to the next. And like, I truly believe that we were just never meant to be that informed on other people's lives or of things in the world. Like,
Yeah.
it, yes, there's obviously a benefit to it, but like, it does nothing but fearmonger the fucking world, man. The
Oh
media
yeah.
is
And
insane.
you know what's disgusting is you see like on like local or even national news stations,
Yeah.
they'll put an article like say Trump does whatever, and I feel like they do that just so they can watch how divided we are in the comments.
And
They
that's
can
what I'm
watch
saying,
they can
man.
watch
Like,
people literally destroy each
over
other
it doesn't even
in the
have to be
comments,
over
and they
that,
sit
man.
back there and they get off on it.
Yeah, like
They get
it
off on
doesn't
how
even have to
divided
be
we are.
over political shit. You go
Yeah.
into anything, and almost always you click on any videos comments or any post comments that has more than 4 comments, right? The first one is going to be like, "Oh, what a fucking dumbass. Fuck this guy. Of
Oh yeah.
course this isn't it." Like,
Yeah.
and 400 likes, and then all the replies are people flaming that guy. And it's like,
Yep.
they do it for impressions. That's what it is to see the division in this country, bro. I don't know a single person that hates their neighbor. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going back to the Bible, like, love thy neighbor, whatever the fuck it says. Like, I don't know a single person that just, fuck you, I hate you. Don't get me wrong, they're out there. There's groups out there. There's people that hate other people, and that sucks. And it shouldn't be that way.
I mean,
But
I
I
can't
don't know
stand my
fucking
neighbors,
any of them.
but
You know what I mean? Like, everybody I know is under the same impression of the same shit. Love who you want to love, own what you want to fucking own, smoke what you want to
yep.
smoke. Just don't fucking bother me, man. Drive
Right.
down the road. If you see something happen in my yard, mind your fucking business. Keep it fucking pushing. If I'm burning the
Yep.
tree in my front yard because I fucking want to, keep fucking driving. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Mind your business.
if
Yep.
if it's a Saturday at 11 o'clock and I'm playing music outside, mind your fucking business. Leave me the fuck
Yep.
alone. Like, who the fuck am I bothering? Because you're trying to sleep at 10 o'clock on a fucking Saturday? Like, grow the fuck up. It's the weekend, man. Have a good fucking time for once in your life.
Yep.
Anyways,
Absolutely.
guys, it is time for Time In or Time Out, the segment of this podcast where we throw out a topic, trend, or item, and we decide whether it is worth your time, money, or values. And these are always interesting when we have a guest. It was fun when we had Haley on, so I'm excited to have our first actual guest on for this segment. And up first, we have, and we've kind of already talked about this, aliens. Time in or time out? Are they real? Are they worth our time?
I'm in.
I'm in.
Time in. I'm
Time in.
glad we're all in a unanimous agreement on that. I think there's
Well,
just
time in. Sweet.
I don't think
How-
there's just a way, man. That it's just us out here.
How is it possible with how large the galaxy is, the universe, what have you?
Like,
call it, for us to
mathematically
be
speaking,
the
yeah, it's just
only
not.
We're the only.
intelligent
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
How is that possible?
it's just
There's no way we
statistically
are
not
the
possible.
only intelligent life in the galaxy.
I agree. I just
Are
statistically
they
it's
among
not
us
possible.
though? That is another question.
Yes, 100%.
Hey, where are
Probably.
they?
They're here.
What do you like? You're walking downtown Nashville. What do you think would stand out to you as an alien?
They wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, man. The governments know, but regular people don't know because, one, they obviously don't want us to, but two, aliens don't want us to know. You know what I mean? They don't.
So do you think it's like a Men in Black ordeal?
Could be.
Maybe, but I think it's more of a like The reason why aliens don't want the majority of the population to know is because we're not as intelligent as we think, and it will make
Yeah.
it'll result in poor, intergalactic
Well,
times for the
that is like
Earth.
I could be wrong on this, but when did our technology really start advancing?
Right before we went to the moon, and then we lost all the technology that took us to the moon,
Well, I was thinking
which is
more
another
towards
conspiracy that
Roswell.
I would love to talk about.
We
I
have.
was thinking more towards Roswell. That's when our
Yeah,
technology, I believe, really took off.
yeah, like it again, just going back to the whole we went to the moon and shit. We never went back to the moon because we lost the technology to go to the moon. We lost like certain things that put us there, or how to like actually be on the moon.
Right.
And that's just bullshit. You can't tell me
Yeah,
that
it
we
makes
didn't
no
have
sense.
blueprints, fucking documents, something out there. And I think it's we went to the moon, we saw something that we didn't like, or the moon's not real. There's only two possibilities there. The moon's a space base.
Well, this is a little off topic, but like talk about technology. Like, have you ever seen iRobot?
Mm-hmm.
Banger.
I haven't seen it in a minute.
We aren't
I haven't
far
either.
from that
No.
technology.
No, we are not.
We are not. Like that. So that was based in 2035. That's in 9 years. We are not far from the technology.
Might be
that will
accurate.
Well, look,
I just
again,
find it crazy.
50 years ago, or now probably 70 years ago, they said in 2010 we are going to have flying cars. Like, that was in like the 90s. People were thinking we were going to have flying cars in the 2010s.
Yep.
We still got Priuses on the street, bro.
We still
Like,
have cars from the 90s.
Camrys are still
Yep.
worth 30 grand with 200,000 miles on them. What do you want me to tell
Oh,
you?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all time in on aliens. Next up is
Yep.
push pop popsicles. So, I don't want to be specific, but the one that comes to mind is the Flintstones
purple one?
push pop.
Yeah.
Chime in.
If it's those ones, time in.
So this may be controversial then. I'm going to say timeout. Unless I'm alone, timeout. There's not a physical way to eat that thing
Totally
where
valid.
you do not become bromosexual.
Yeah.
And,
It's true.
there has been several allegations thrown around in Riley's household over certain accusations.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible. Terrible.
TJ, I don't know if I told you this, but Hill's going to hate that we're talking about this on the podcast. Riley called me one time, probably like a month ago now, and he was like, "Hey, man,
Okay.
I might be gay." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, he goes, "Your sister says I'm gay." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Do you think it's gay, like, if your buddy at work comes up to you, puts his arm around you, and you put your arm around him back? Is that gay?" And I was like, "No. Why's that gay? Guys can't, like, hug each other or whatever?" And he was like, "Well, like, what if you stare at him sensually?" I was like, "No." And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "How is that gay?" Like,
Essentially,
you know what I mean?
is a
I can't
questionable
look at my
choice.
friend and be like, "Hey, man, I love you," and him say it back.
Yeah,
That's gay. Why is that
absolutely.
gay? You know
Like,
what I
I
mean?
love you, brother. Thanks for
So
being my buddy. Thanks for being my pal.
if we're on the cusp of like Hill thinks that makes us homosexual, I'll be damned if I'm getting caught eating a push pop popsicle in front of somebody.
That's true. You're cooked.
I mean, you're that's worse than a banana. I mean, the girth on them things, man.
Yep.
I don't even want to think
when we
about
get
it.
hot dog. When we get hot dogs at the course,
kind of changes things.
We lock eyes eating a hot dog, you know what I mean? It's like licking a fucking margarita. You lock eyes licking a margarita with another guy. Very questionable activity there.
That's
So I'm
definitely close.
I'm gonna say
That's
timeout. I'm timeout unless I'm private.
All right.
And
Yeah.
I'm a
private
secret push
hours.
pop popsicle guy. I'm a closeted push
So-
pop popsicle.
He's a closeted push popper.
I would chime in thinking of like the nostalgia, like, oh yeah, those were so good, but
That's what I was.
If
yeah,
you give me
that's
one
a
every
different
5
level.
years, I'm with it.
and then you had to turn it gay, dude. Like you
No,
just
I didn't.
ruined.
You
I
did
didn't
turn
turn
it
it.
gay.
I didn't turn
You
it that
turned it
way.
gay.
No, I didn't. Hill did.
No, you did by
No,
saying,
Hill
like,
did.
oh, if I eat a push pop today, you know,
No,
I'd have
if
to
I
be
eat it in
hidden in
front
the
of you
closet.
guys, yeah, it's weird.
not you can't think of it that way. You gotta
Unless
think of
we're
it
all
as
like, if we're all eating one, sure. But like, dude, if I'm the only one, I'm just like,
Yeah, we all got to commit. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, no way.
Both hands. Yeah, nah, crazy work. Yeah.
Nope. we'd all have to be in agreement. Like, oh, we're all going to have a push pop.
We're
If we go to the
all push
if we go to
popping.
the ice cream truck
and
and
no
you
eye
four
contact.
get ice cream sandwiches, there's no way I'm getting a push pop popsicle.
Yeah, and absolutely no eye contact.
Can't,
All
even
eye
with
contact.
socks on.
Yeah,
So
you're breaking
guess
a
what
limit.
you and I are getting when we come to Tennessee?
Push pop popsicles.
Absolutely. Yep.
Fantastic.
All right, so the next one we got is calling over texting. I'm a firm believer. I just text me, bro. I don't ever want to talk on the phone. It could be slower. It may take longer. So I'm gonna say
Depends what it
texting.
is.
Yeah, it definitely depends on what it is. Like if it's just like a quick question, then it or whatever, I'll text it. But
Yeah.
like there's a lot of times I call you. I would rather just like have that interaction.
Yeah, like sometimes
of
it's
talking
yeah.
rather than texting.
I can understand that, but I'm more of like, don't call me to be like, hey, how you doing? Like,
Yeah.
unless you have something to talk
Yeah.
about, like I don't need to talk on the phone. That's what texting's for.
Don't call me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna do now. Some random time, just be like, hey,
How you doing?
what's up? How you doing?
That'll set me off, especially if I'm at work and
Good.
you're home.
Good.
Next up, we have tips. Like tips at a restaurant.
Okay, I'm gonna say time in for a regular restaurant, time out for fucking going to Subway, and they're like, hey, if you look at the screen here, and
Just gonna ask you a couple questions.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions at that screen. Time the fuck out.
40%.
I cannot stand that. You have done nothing but your actual job.
Yeah. So
you made me a sandwich. You do not deserve a tip.
yeah, and like you're paid a
job.
wage. So here's my thing.
Yeah.
Is I think I'm obviously fine with the normal tip system. However, it should not be a mandatory 20% or whatever. Like it's built off of performance, pal. Okay? It's
Absolutely.
not built off of the price of the bill. It's built off of performance. If your company that you work for isn't willing to pay you a considerable wage for what you do, that has nothing to do with me, right? Like, unfortunately, you
Right.
chose to work here. So if I go, let's say, for instance, I go to like House of Pizza, me and Haley, let's say we get out of there $150. We both got, a couple alcoholic drinks, 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, and a dessert, right? Say it's $150. A 20% tip there, $30. Sure, they were great. Like they were attentive, they were very nice. Here's, $30 tip, whatever. That's 20%. If I go to a restaurant and the bill's five fucking grand, what did that person do differently that they deserve a larger tip?
Right. You see Michael Porter Jr. just went viral for saying this?
I don't care. Like
this exact tape.
You're just carrying a plate. Like
yeah.
And so like we talked about, me and Haley talked about this. Penny Pazzi, which is just an Italian restaurant. Great food. Don't get me wrong. Great food. They hand make their pasta every single day. It's worth the money. However, at the end, they ask for a fucking tip. And all it is scan a QR code, order on your phone, they bring it out, set it in front of you. That's it. They don't don't come by, get your refills. They don't even bring you your drink. You get your drink. They bring you a cup. You go get your drink. Like, I'm not tipping anyone for that.
No.
At all.
Doing all the work.
If I go into McDonald's or whatever, and this is going to lead into a whole nother thing that I found out today. Shake Shack. If you go inside to a Shake Shack, they have like the kiosk things at McDonald's. Same thing. And you say, this lady had it on video, added 3 milkshakes. 2 were just regular milkshakes, 1 had whipped cream. So it was $5.99, $5.99, and $6.48. Total out to whatever. Comes to the end, do you want a tip? Obviously, fucking no. She's at a kiosk. Nobody's even taking her order. She clicks no, and it says, attention, like, please check the pricing on the items. They may have changed. She clicks OK. Sure enough, the 2 ones that were $5.99 are now $6.48, and the other one's now $7. They went up 50 cents.
No to a tip?
Each item went up 50 cents for saying no to the tip, and I was like, what? That'd be the last time I'd be buying from fucking Shake Shack. I'd be calling corporate and be like, hey, this is fucked. If I go to Subway, don't ask me for a tip, bro. I know damn well you're getting paid a full wage. I know they're not garnishing your fucking wages for tips. If I go to a restaurant and I spend $400 on a bill, like usually for our anniversary, we do one like extravagant meal a year. For our 10-year anniversary, we ended up ended up going to Sinatra's, which is downtown. It's the Frank Sinatra bar. Delicious food. We got a whole bottle of Prosecco. I had 3 or 4 drinks. We both got appetizers, both had entrees, both had desserts. So like was a $400 bill. We ended up tipping the lady like $150. One, it's the one time a year like we do like a very expensive meal. And two, like she was attentive. Like she came by, took care of us, went out of her way to like grab a bottle of Prosecco to bring over to the table, went out of her way to make sure it was Saratoga water we were drinking, not just fucking tap water. Like constantly was by us, sat there and small talked to us about like where we're from, what we're doing, why we're here, what are we celebrating. Like that type of
I mean, it's the
conversation
level of
deserve.
service.
It was an excellent level of you deserve a great
Yeah.
tip. But if I
Yeah.
go to House of Pizza, it's $150. I'm not going to tip the lady $150. She knows me. I've lived there my whole fucking life. Like, you know,
Right.
even if she doesn't, like, it's just a small town pizzeria joint. Like, they don't care. So I think if it's just, I would rather just not have tips and have that person be paid a full wage, and I tip
Yeah.
truly based off of performance, and like they just get to pocket the extra money. I'm a firm believer that you don't tip on the card because that money's taxed. They don't get the full amount. Like
Yep.
I'm a firm
It's
believer
always
that you
cash.
tip in cash. If
Yeah.
I don't have it, sometimes, you know, we just don't have cash. We had to tip by card, whatever. But I'm time out almost fully on tips. I think
Yeah.
they should
I'll
just be
say
paid a
yeah.
wage, and I'll tip them if I
I'll say time
like
out.
their service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
if
agree.
Hill and I go to Texas Roadhouse, the waitress, as fast as
Never
they
been to
can,
Texas Roadhouse.
comes over, asks for drink. We get our drink. We get our appetizer, whatever. Say like they're walking by doing the rounds, you're getting low on your drink.
Yeah.
The next time they come around, you have reloaded drink. They don't even
That
ask.
so
That's huge.
there's two
That's
instances for me.
huge.
I either love that or I hate that. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, because if I'm
Yeah,
drinking
it's
a
in the
beer,
middle.
say like for instance, like Jonathan's, they do happy hour. I think Thursdays or Fridays from like 2 to 6, or like whatever random hours, whatever it is. Say we show up at 5 and I'm slamming beers for happy hour. It's buy one get one, and then at 6 o'clock, all of a sudden she brings by 2 more beers, and now they're full price beers. That's an instance where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what the
that
fuck?
I can understand.
Hold on a minute,
Yeah.
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 or like, again, you're just drinking a soda, drive by like viewing, and then they bring another soda. I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck yeah. What's a $3 fucking thing of soda? Hell yeah. I was parched. I'll take it. But if I'm, you know what I mean, not intending on getting hammered, all of a sudden now I have a fucking $8 beer in front of me. I
Now
have
you're
to
like,
drink.
well,
I can't let it go to waste. So say I'm drinking the beer and like Haley's finishing her food, so I'm just finishing my beer. If they bring another one, I'm even more. Now I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not trying to drink and drive, folks. I'm just trying to have a couple brewskis with a lady. So there's 2 instances there for sure.
yeah. Nah, I feel you.
The next one that we have. So wait, were you timing or time out on that, Riley?
I'm in on tips for the ones that are deserved,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Okay.
Time out for fucking
Yeah.
Subway.
I love how you're like swearing
It's
on
Subway
Subway. Like,
specifically.
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck Subway.
I've never had that happen to me.
It just pisses me off because all you're doing is making a sandwich
Yeah.
and you're getting full wage.
And yeah, like you're it's like McDonald's. Like, why would
They're
I
paying
tip
you.
you? Why am I tipping you
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
You're making $18 an hour to make this sandwich. It's gonna be
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Next up we have, and this is a very important one for Kane, the color yellow.
Time out.
I am so glad you said that.
I see yellow all day, every day, 8
Dude.
hours a day. That's all I see is yellow. Time out.
Yellow is the worst color.
Yep.
The worst.
It's a depressing color.
And it's not supposed to be, man. It's supposed to be happy.
No. Yeah, it
Like,
is.
In my
Yeah,
stream, you can't say the word yellow. Like, you can't come in the chat and be like yellow or like different ways of spelling
can't.
it. Can't. It's been banned for 6 years, probably 8 now. Like since I started streaming. Just one day in Fortnite, I was the color yellow because it was like by alphabetical. So whenever we played squads, I would be yellow. And I went on this tangent, so then everybody was spamming it in chat, and I fucking banned it. Same thing with Raisin Bran. You can't say Raisin Bran in chat either.
Yeah.
So I'm full time out on yellow. I don't think there's an instance where I prefer that color over anything else.
You can say the color adjacent to orange.
You
Fun
can
fact.
say that. Yes.
Can.
That is a respectable
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
That was how I got around it.
T-
Anywho.
are you time in or time out? You haven't answered.
I see personally, I'll say time in, but not I like it as like an
Sure.
accent color. That's gold. It's not yellow. It's different.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I would say like as a main, like if you're talking all the colors, like yeah, it's probably timeout. It's one of the weaker colors, I would say.
Yeah. Terrible color. Awful color. Next up, universal or national gun laws. Quite the jump from the color yellow. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say it's really tough because like I'm not a fan of obviously, I think you should be able to own whatever you want to own. I think if I want to purchase an Apache helicopter, who can stop me?
Mhm.
Obviously there should be permits and licenses needed to own these things, but like if the
That'd be
government
cool.
can buy it, why can't I?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll say timeout.
Yeah, definitely
Well,
timeout for me, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah,
the
I
way
bet.
I look at it is any gun law is against freedom. It is against the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Any
Okay.
gun law. But with the way things are today, mental health wise. If I say if
I think that
you're
that's what I mean like with national is like you should have to have a license permit to own whatever you want to own, and that goes with what you're about to say. Like mental health wise, you
yeah,
have to pass certain things to be able to own certain things.
like say if
Yeah,
like if I have to go through a course, whatever. If I have to go through a course to own a machine gun,
Hmm.
obviously machine guns are illegal right now unless you have whatever paperwork, whatnot.
Yeah.
But if I have to go through a course, if I have to, make sure my head is right in order to own one, I would do it.
100%.
I'd be happy doing it, but at the same time, do I want the government to know what I have? Do I want Kathy Hochul to know what I have? No, absolutely
No.
not.
So like
I don't want
here's
them to know anything that I have.
yeah.
see like
Because then you get, for instance, Waco. If you've done
yeah.
any
Yeah.
research
So
into
like
that.
off of what you're saying, I agree. I don't think they need to know everything that we're doing, to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Um But I also think like the whole, hey, if you want to own a fucking Apache helicopter, there's certain things that you have to go through. And like the
Yep.
government should know I have an Apache helicopter. I shouldn't be able to hide that privately. The government should know that I have a fucking armored tank in my backyard. It's not anything you're gonna own in an HOA
No,
community, but
no, they
like
shouldn't.
you don't think they should know that I have an Apache helicopter?
No, no.
So how would
I,
you say that I could possess one if I have to go through like certain tests? Like for instance, again going back to the mental health, it needs to be more than just like a written paper exam of like, do you
yeah.
like rainbows and butterflies? What do you see in this image? I think it needs to be like you sit down with a psychiatrist and they ask certain high level questions of things like that. For to an extent,
Which
like
I
for
agree
what
with.
we're talking about.
I agree with because like every single person in the world will say we have a huge mental health issue. And like do I want to jump through hoops to own guns? No, I don't. I don't want to fucking jump through hoops at all to own guns.
Yeah.
Not one bit. But because of the way society is, if that's what I have to do, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
And
You know?
that's so again going off of like say we want to own a tank or something. Um is there a way or could there be a way where those things take place where we have to go through say like mental aptitude tests or mental health tests, screenings, background checks, whatever, to where like it would be undocumented that the government would know or how this probably isn't something we should talk about on the podcast, but like there's just no way that that could happen in retrospect. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like how I think that that's what anybody should do. Now, I don't own any guns, like even like secretly. I don't own a gun. I don't. Um,
I have
and
an airsoft gun.
like I just don't own a weapon
Yeah.
of of gun power, you know?
Well, like in New York, I have no choice. The state already knows what I have.
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, how could someone obtain something like that if that becomes, say, not necessarily a national gun law, but hey, there needs to be mental health screening in this aspect. And I think obviously a lot of the Second Amendment right goes back to, you know, the Revolutionary War, right to bear arms. Like if we want to, you know, fight the government, we can. That would be pretty tough without tanks and Apache helicopters, is what I'm getting at. So, um,
Yeah.
how like I don't see how that could happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing that I look at, if you want to get on the train of government tyranny, if you want to get on that train, 75% of our military, if they were told to do it, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't or would.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. 75% of them would be on our side. It's the suits you have to worry about.
Yeah.
You get a million of us armed citizens on the front of the White House lawn. What are they going to do? We think the first thing they're going to do?
Tanks.
Press a little red button. Boom.
Yeah.
They're safe.
Well,
You know?
and that's kind of like every movie, you know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
Bugs Life movie.
people people standing up for like
That's
what's
what it
right,
is.
and then all of a sudden, oh well, it doesn't matter because they still have 400,000 people that are willing to do what they need, and 400,000 trained soldiers are better than 340 million people that don't know what they're doing with a gun. And not
Yeah.
that that's, you know, fully true, don't know what they're doing with a gun, but like you take 400 million of me, there's only going to be so much I can do versus 400,000
Yeah.
trained soldiers.
And
So
that's one huge thing I push is training.
yeah,
Like, I don't believe in just carrying to carry, say, hey, I have a gun. No, it's a huge
yeah,
responsibility. And, if God forbid you're ever forced to be in that position, which
yeah,
I hope
yeah.
never
Knock
happens
on
to
wood,
somebody.
hopefully never happens.
I hope it never happens to somebody, but you need to be ready for
Yeah.
that. You need to ask yourself, if something bad really happens, can I do this?
Yeah. So
You
I'm
know,
fully time out on national gun laws. I think the only law
absolutely.
that should come into
Yeah.
play is those kind of like mental aptitude tests to a certain extent. And I think again, I've said it 100 times in this podcast. You should be able to own whatever you want to own, smoke what you want to smoke, love who you want to love. I don't give a shit, man. Just don't
Absolutely.
bother me with it. You
Yep.
mentioned that you had one more time in or time out for us, but you wouldn't tell us what it is. So it is your
Kept it
time to
Yeah.
a
shine.
kept it
So
a secret.
I did. I kept it a secret. Time in, time out. You're waiting, you're waiting, waiting. You hear nothing from Rockstar Games, and then you get on August 27th, you will see an extended look at GTA 6 on Netflix. Time in or time
Netflix.
out. Yep,
Yeah.
Netflix.
Time out.
Time in or time
Time
out.
out.
Time out. I'd rather
Time
not
out.
have it. Fuck
How are you
off, man.
paywalling a trailer?
Yeah, like just put it out. You're gonna put it out on
Yep.
Netflix, and 20 minutes later, it's gonna be everywhere else.
If
Yep.
you don't put it on
Why even
YouTube, you're
bother?
like, what? What are you
Everybody's
doing?
waiting and
How much
waiting
did
and
Netflix
waiting.
pay you?
Here's
How much did
something
Netflix
and
pay you?
yeah.
Too much,
Bing
probably.
Bing bot. That goes back to Bing bot,
Yep.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking
Time out.
time
Fuck
in,
that.
like
Yep.
cool, happy to have it. Time out.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Netflix.
Yep.
Yep.
Full time out.
Full.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that wraps up time in or time out. If you know a small business or local business that may want to sponsor the podcast, we would love to have you guys sponsor this segment. It's something that's always fun and intriguing to hear our input on. So, anyways, guys, just a few more questions here in this podcast, Riley. And one of them is looking back at everything that we've talked about today, basically kind of coming into the culmination of being driven by something for something. Success, marriage, purpose, politics, and life. What's one belief you hold today that you hope never changes?
Dude, love and patriotism.
Loving patriotism?
Love
Patriotism?
and
Okay,
love
that's what I thought.
and patriotism.
I was gonna say loving patriotism. That's a beautiful thing, you know, loving it. But yeah, I agree. I hope like I never stop loving things. Whether it be
Yep.
Haley or just breathing. And I think everybody should love the country they live in. If you don't, why are you here? So I agree. I like that. What about you, TJ?
Um. I guess oh man, that I don't want to change.
Yeah. That you hope
My
never
humor,
changes.
my ability to find humor in things, or to keep things light, I guess. Like, not, I don't want to say I don't take anything serious, but like not taking it too serious.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah,
knowing so I hope I can always kind of keep that ability.
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes when the worst things happen, you got to have humor in it, dude.
Yeah.
It's what keeps your sanity.
That's one thing that I hope never changes as well. Is just I've always kind of been able to find the positive light in a lot of things. Not necessarily
Absolutely.
keeping things light, but just keeping things positive. No matter what, there's always a bright side to something, and you just got to find it. And that's part of what keeps me driven as well. The last question from us, well, technically the second last question from us, is did anything that we talked about today, Riley, potentially open your mind or make you think differently on something?
I wouldn't say so, but man, this has been a fun podcast.
It's been a
It
good
has.
one, man.
It
It's a good
has.
Yeah.
one.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this
Some
is
technical
definitely like my
difficulties,
favorite
but
so
it's
far
been
this
a lot of
season.
fun.
Definitely my favorite so far this season.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of picking up where we left off. The reason why I say this is the second to last question that we have. This is a question from someone else. A tradition that we've always had on the Two Kill Tom podcast is we always ask our current guest to leave a question for our next guest. The last guest that we had to ask a question was Shauna, and it was actually supposed to be Chris and Jeff answering the question. But it was Shauna who actually answered your question of what was your favorite Disney movie on August 9th, 2023. And her question was, do you like scary movies, and what is your favorite one?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I love the scary movies.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love the
Yeah.
scary movies.
Okay.
Yep. I haven't seen the newest one.
Me, I haven't seen like the last two, I
Yep.
think.
Yep. But like actual horror movies, I do enjoy some of them. Like the biggest ones that stand out for me are like Rob Zombie's Halloween,
Yeah. Well, I haven't
his
watched that in a
version of the
long time.
Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
Yep.
that in a minute. I've never been a big like scary movie guy. Like I shouldn't say that. I love scary movies, but I don't like slashers, man. Like I don't like Halloween. I don't like Scream.
Yeah.
Like
See, I
they just never been for
I
me.
like slashers. I don't like
I like the
like
psychological shit where you're watching it and your
no.
stomach's just turning like, oh fuck, man. I
No,
don't,
fuck that.
I don't want to know what's coming. Like I want to be scared. I don't want to just like watch this guy kill 47 people before they figured out it was the cop. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no. Like
Yeah.
what got me is in like Paranormal Activity when like they had that camera on the fan
Yeah,
and it
I
would just
love.
like
Yeah, I
go
love
keep going.
those like the
No, no.
documentary style. I like that, but I'm more talking about like Smile. I love that movie. Like it just,
Obsession.
dude.
I've never
Oh,
seen Smile.
if you want to fucking, that was the first movie that I was like, whoa, like I'm actually
Okay,
unsettled right now,
then I'm all set with it
dude. No,
probably.
you have to watch it. When you come down, we're watching it because
It's good.
it's not even like it wasn't that bad, but every time that I thought I knew what was coming, something else happened. Every
Yeah,
time
Yeah.
it was something different. So I guess if that's your favorite scary movie, I don't know what my favorite scary movie is. Probably, I mean, as of right now, I would say probably Obsession is really good. I was a really big fan of the new It chapter like movies. I love those new
Those
movies.
were good.
Um, I don't really have like a favorite scary movie. What about you, TJ?
I think like my personal favorite all time is Freddy vs. Jason.
Mm.
oh dude, that is an awesome movie. I love that. It had a really good
Um,
soundtrack too.
yes, it did. Yes, it
It
did.
did. It had a very good soundtrack.
I mean, yeah, I would say right now it's probably Obsession. Like that's literally one of the better movies I've seen in probably the
Phenomenal.
last couple years. Yeah,
Better than
like it was
Backrooms.
great.
Backrooms sucked in my
Yes,
opinion. I hated that movie.
I hadn't. I had low expectations, so I kind of knew.
Yeah, it
But
sucked.
Obsession was great. So, but all time, yeah, probably Freddy Jason.
Gotcha.
That's a good one.
So our last question for you, man, is what is your question for our next guest?
My question for our next guest is, what is one thing you could change today to feel more successful?
What a great way to wrap that up,
Nice.
buddy. Great question.
Yep.
Now
Yeah.
we don't answer the question during your episode. We'll always answer it with the guest. Give them an opportunity, just like we did with Shauna's question. So I look forward to answering that question on our next episode. TJ O'Reilly, if you guys don't have anything for us, that definitely concludes the episode.
Good.
Yeah.
All righty. Everybody, if you enjoyed this episode of the 2 Kill Time podcast, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, as well as leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Anyways, guys, much love, and we will see y'all in the next one.
Peace.
Peace out.